speaking of possibly disappointing follow-ups,
Yeah.
we're gonna break our normal pattern because before we get into box office, which is intrinsically linked with one of our major stories here,
Yes.
Daniel, you saw.
Yes. I watched the premiere episode for The Mandalorian season 3. It was not uh, it's not it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. And like nothing, not a whole lot happens in it. That's kind of the main problem. I mean, main problem. This season is going to be a slow burn. So if you didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett, and I don't blame you for that, um, Grogu, better known as Baby Yoda, he went back. He decided to go back to the Mandalorian. Decided to forsake his Jedi training with Luke Skywalker. And so now they're going off again on adventures, and so this season starts off where the Mandalorian goes back to his old whatever coven, they call it, of the Mandalorians that he was with. That was another thing that happened in Book of Boba Fett, was that he's been banished from this his convent of Mandalorians because he took his helmet off. And so he shows up, and they're basically they've got a bunch of new foundlings, new kids that they're going to be training, and the scene reminded me of a baptism,
Hmm.
the way that they did, because it's in the water. And he saves the day when this giant alligator like creature comes out and attacks him. Um, so Mandalorian basically wants to he wants to rejoin this coven, and they tell him the only way he can do that is if he bathes in the waters of these mines on Mandalore. But then they tell him, well, all the mines are all destroyed, and Mandalore is just a toxic wasteland because it got bombed to
Nuked horribly, yeah.
bombed horribly by the Empire. And but he decides, well, I'm going to go anyway, and then he goes to Navarro, the volcanic like planet where Carl Weathers is, and of course now they turned Carl Weathers' character into Lando Calrissian, basically.
Yeah, because that's who he was in the first season.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because Navarro, because he's basically like Lando Calrissian, Lando running Cloud City. But
Probably because Billy D. Williams isn't in the best of health. I wonder if they would have actually brought in Lando for that if he had been able.
yeah, maybe, yeah. Um, but anyway, so uh, Mando is there because he wants, because they built a statue of IG-11, the IG unit in the first season, who sacrifices himself. Um, and of course they built the statue out of some of his parts because Mando wants IG-11 back, because he said he wants a droid he can trust to
Taika
help him.
Waititi needed a check.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly it. Yes, Taika Waititi needed to check. Well, I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder did so well. Uh,
Oh,
but anyway, of course he can't fix them, and he needs this part to fix IG-11. So then the episode ends where, of course, he runs into space pirates too. It's just a lot of little stuff happening, but not a lot. It's weird. There's a lot of stuff happening, but
mhm.
nothing happens. It's very odd.
You know what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah,
And then, and then, and
and then
then, and then,
pretty
which
much,
is
yeah,
which is always a bad sign. It should be
yeah,
like because of blop.
yeah, yeah, and then he goes to this other planet, and he meets up with Bo Katan, she's living in her castle, And he tells her, he tells her that he's going to Mandalore to go into these mines, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's in the middle of this city. Have fun,
Whatever.
whatever."
It's drunk o'clock.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much how that scene went, and that's it. That was the first episode. Just like I said, it's gonna be a slow burn. Not a whole lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Call Me Chato had a really funny breakdown of it. I didn't subject myself to it like Daniel did. He's well, I guess we'll call him our Disney Plus correspondent.
Yes.
But it's interesting because Mandalorian is like the one aspect of Disney Star Wars that people enjoy. And it sounds like they are almost taking that for granted. You almost
Mhm.
wonder if part of the problem is that they got their season introduction stolen to try to pad out Book of Boba Fett.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, Ninja Toe. Yeah, where's the conflict? Good question.
Um, it's man versus nature because he's trying to get to the mines
And he's trying to fix his droid friends, and there's friendship, and then
and magic and ponies.
magic and ponies. Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Mm.
so, and also, I had no idea that this was dropping. You wonder if they like how heavily they've actually been advertising this.
Other than I think maybe an ad during the Super Bowl, I haven't really heard
What
anything about
was
it.
there an ad for the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl for this one?
Or it might not have been the Super Bowl. It might have been one of the other playoff games before it.
Okay.
Is it at least a fun episode? No, not really, Chingus.
It sounds a little bit half baked. Like there's concepts in there that could work.
Hmm.
Although I think that bringing IG-11 back is a stupid idea.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I think so too. It diminishes his sacrifice at the end of the first season.
Right? At least have it be like, oh, he had his memory cortex had some sort of important data that they needed.
Yeah,
Not just, "Oh, I want a droid and there's only one droid I can trust."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's yeah. I don't have a whole lot of hope for this season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ninja Toe says I've grown tired of most things Star Wars from the constant releases and constant. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you there, Ninja Toe. It's yeah,
There's this amazing ability to have a thing move from fun in your mind to not fun. It's very hard to overcome that.
yeah,
Like, I could think of some franchises that I still enjoy the content, or actually, to continue enjoying the content, I stay the hell away from any sort of online discussion about it. Like, just for example, I enjoyed the Demon Slayer series. Um, I watched the first two seasons, and when I hit the end of the second season, I went out and bought the manga series and caught up to the end. There are issues you can take with that one.
hmm
And I am aware of those issues you could take with it. And so, because I am aware of those issues and don't feel the need to have them driven into my head, I, I do not get into long discussions about Demon Slayer with people online or watch review videos on it.
yeah,
So, I think that's kind of how there's like it's funny. I think you have to, if you immerse yourself in an online subculture, the online subculture almost becomes more important than the media around the culture.
yeah, yeah. And no greater example of that than with the Snyderverse.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I ping ponged around on that one. Some of my ping ponging around on the opinions of it, of it was just based on me getting sick of certain people talking about it all the fucking time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Like I never liked a lot of those movies, but I had kind of a attitude on some of them, which eventually turned into go away.
yeah.
If it is Snyderverse, I don't want to touch anymore. Like that's big chunk of why when Henry Cavill got the boot, I just said, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
It's like to bring up Star Wars. It's like Grand Moff Tarkin saying, "And with that, the last remnants of the old republic have faded away.
Yes. And yeah, Nijito says, yeah, he's with My Hero Academia and Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. Yeah.
My Hero is another one where I feel like I keep getting the sense that there is something controversial that happens in a season I haven't gotten around to watching yet, and I want to keep it that way.
Yes.
Where I don't
Yeah.
get spoiled and I
Yeah.
don't have to deal with video essays where people talk about why it's bad. Let me make that choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so the plot doesn't move forward. Is there anything like fun character action, character insight, anything remotely interesting? Um, yeah. I mean, there are a couple of funny moments in there, Changus. They brought back. I don't remember the name of the alien species, but it's Babu Frick from Rise of Skywalker.
Oh no.
Those aliens are in there.
Hey.
Hey, yeah. And there's a little funny interaction there with Mando and those guys and Grogu and those guys. So
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like when you don't actually have any meat for your soup, so you just load up on spices.
yeah, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
It sounds like there's a bunch of little things that could be cool and would be great as like a spice on a show or an episode, but
yeah,
you can't just have a big pile of coriander.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Um,
That's
s-
yeah.
speaking of transitions,
Yes.